welcome to this special edition of Face My Abuse. And we're taking over Celebrity Catwalk today. And I have my lovely guest with me, Chrissy Monroe and Kia Jeffries.
Hi.
And we are here to let's talk about domestic violence. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why 1.5 million women were killed last year, and every 9 seconds a woman is killed or a child is abused by domestic violence. Kia, would you like to share your story and introduce my guests just a little bit about your background?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Kia Jeffries, originally from Queens. Definitely have this domestic violence issue. My husband died 3 years ago when we were in an altercation. There was a gun involved, and it's just a terrible issue. It's just bad, and it happens all the time. And I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess. I survived it. I wasn't locked up for it. It definitely wasn't my fault, but that doesn't matter sometimes. A lot of times women still go to jail, when they're just defending themselves. So, it's a big issue. And,
I think, well, to the audience, they want to know that when you say it wasn't your fault, I don't think they're very clear and specifically what had happened. So could you just elaborate a little bit more detailed?
Yeah. We struggled over a gun. I pulled the trigger. The shot went into his shoulder, and then he had the gun and started beating me with the gun. From him beating me with the gun, moving his arms, that pushed the bullet into his heart, and basically he killed himself. He bled out.
Wow.
And it's really shocking, and today it's his birthday, which is kind of deep and crazy.
Our deepest condolence, and we're so happy that you're here, and thank you for just embarking a little bit about your story on domestic violence.
Yes.
And now we have our beautiful Miss Chrissy Monroe. Most of you might have known her from the lovely VH1 Love and Hip Hop. Mm-hmm. And so Chrissy has a story that I think the world is starting to see gradually as we move on with Chrissy's transformation. Chrissy is and was a victim of domestic violence, and I would like for her to tell you a little bit about what happened to her.
Okay, well, hi everybody. Most of you guys know me from season 5, Love and Hip Hop New York. I was involved with The Married Man, and most of my fans, their number one question is, was it Chink Santana, the man I was with on Love and Hip Hop? And my answer is definitely no. Even though we had our ups and downs, he wasn't the one that was abusing me. It was after I left Love and Hip Hop and left that relationship. I got involved with a much younger man, about 13 years my junior, and everything was fine at first. We met at a charity event that I was hosting here in New York. Handsome, fine. I mean, like everybody at the party where I met him was like, "Oh my God, who's that?" This guy just came out of nowhere. He was from Coney Island, Brooklyn. I was like, "Oh, that's mine. He's fine. He's coming home with me." And the rest is history. Every day we were together, charming, nice, cool. Of course, he didn't display the characteristics of a psychopath that he slowly became.
How does that happen, Chrissy?
Well, it started out actually with, because everybody's like, "Oh, well, why would you date a guy like that?" Duh. I mean, he wasn't like that when I met him. They never are. They don't you don't go out on a date with somebody and he tells you, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm a woman beater."
Right.
I mean, who's going to deal with that?
Right.
It basically became with the emotional abuse, and I'll explain a little bit about that. That was basically the silent treatment, and then I'd start questioning, well,
what did you do?
What did I do wrong? Why are you acting quiet? Are you mad at me? And he'd be like, just leave me alone. I want to be left alone right now. And I'd be like, well, what did I do? I'd start feeling like, well, I did something. But I realized later on when I learned more about emotional abuse, it was part of the manipulation to get the control. So I'd be like, oh, well, I started apologizing to him for things that I didn't even do. Did I upset you, babe? Did I wake you up? Or was I too loud? Or in reality, I didn't do anything wrong.
What was the first real major sign that you knew that this was not a healthy relationship and it was a domestic violence? What did he do that was so profound that really woke you up like, okay, wow, this is a bit much?
Well, the first thing, and it was already kind of in too late because I'd already let him get paroled to my house, which was stupid, but like I said, we were together every day. I liked the attention. I liked having the companionship. I fell prey to that because here I am going out to all these events on the red carpet and stuff, but it's a lonely life being on television and being in the entertainment field.
I'm sure.
It was nice to have somebody with me. He would drive me places and wait in the car. I felt like, he was really there for me. So the main thing that happened was he was already living with me. This was about 3 months in. This was after the silent treatment started. It started one day we were on our way to his cousin's house, and he just flipped on me in the car for no reason.
Flip how?
Verbally. You S-L-U-T, I mean, calling me all kind of filthy names, just like...
And you don't remember anything that escalated to that?
No, just
nothing.
It was like schizophrenia. Like,
no, I really have to ask that because, you know, a lot of times people think that we make these things up and, you know, it was, okay, what's the other side to it? Okay, she's just saying that he flipped. I really want people to understand that you don't have to do nothing when you're dealing with a domestic violence. It's a habit. A person that's coming from that type of background, you have to make sure that you understand that you don't need a reason for anyone to just flip on you. Continue.
So we got to the cousin's house, and I was shook. He went into the bathroom, and I sat on her couch, and she's like, She's like, his mouth, right? I said, how did you know? She said, oh, he talks to all of us like that in the family. She said,
wow.
You're going to see. She said, like, she warned me. She's like, it doesn't get any better. But she couldn't really say anything because everybody was afraid of this guy in the family. He's a maniac. I didn't know to what depth at that time, but that was, you know, the first time. I was shook. I was sitting there crying like I couldn't believe I just got verbally attacked like that in the car. Oh, no, of course, it was, I got up to leave. He's like, don't leave. I'm sorry. I'm just having a bad day. I didn't mean to flip out on you. It wasn't your fault. Took me to get my nails done, took me to dinner and all that.
Oh, my God.
And, you know.
I mean,
yeah, and
that
I really.
rings so,
yeah.
like, that's what we deal with. They have that same pattern.
Because you care about them. I'm already locked into you physically, emotionally. I'm with you 24/7. I don't want you to leave. I care about this man already. And then I'm like, well, maybe he's just having a bad day. You
so
overlook
when did you get the second wake up? When did you, like, the second really wake up to say, okay, this guy's really not treating me the way I'm supposed to be treated. He's talking to me very foul and very violent. And then the abuse. Like, when did he first, you know, hit you, give you a black eye, bloody your nose, anything? When did he do that? And then why did after, again, did you even say, let me sit here and wait some more to see if he's going to change? Okay,
well, the first time he hit me, we were on the Deegan, which is a popular highway here in the Bronx. It's very crowded.
You were driving?
I was driving, we had the top down. I remember it was last summer. I think I said something he didn't like. I don't even remember what it was.
Wow.
But he, boom, right in my face, and my nose started bleeding. While I'm driving, I stopped the car in the middle of the lane and just started screaming and crying. Oh, what are you doing? You know, you dumb bee, you're gonna get me arrested. Da, da, da. Like, that's all he could say was he was worried about himself, not I'm sorry for hitting you. I was like, I want you to get out of my house. We go back home now. I want you out. I'm not going anywhere. I'm paroled to your house.
The police did you call the police?
No, if I was constantly threatened with, if I call the police or if parole contacts him, I'm going to bleed, I'm going to go to the hospital, his family's going to come and jump me.
So you were being threatened on
They're going to come cut my face. Oh, yeah.
Threatened
Constantly.
by him and his family.
His family members, they would call, or just random women would call, and I'm going to take your head off, Chrissy. I'm going to slice your face.
Wow.
So, and you know, he claims he was a blood gang member from Coney Island. I believed him. And he has a criminal history. He already had 3 felonies. I mean, I picked the winner.
Wow. Thank you.
But,
and so you, now, Kia, give us a little bit about, you know, when did you start seeing your signs?
Well, I was married, you know. We were married for, let me see, we got married in 98. So we were 06, 07 is when I really realized, like, okay.
Well, let's go back a little bit because I gave Chrissy such an introduction about her being on television. But let the audience know a little bit about your history and, you know, you being in the industry and, you know, why you're so valid and why you're being actually accused of right now, like you're the fault of him being deceased.
Yeah.
Just give a little from the beginning, you know, your industry music background and everything and so forth.
So I'm a singer-songwriter from Queens. I sung that song with Akinelli, Put It In Your Mouth. It's a popular underground hip-hop song. My husband actually was a fan of the song, which is how when we met, like that was the thing for him, that he was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to meet you, and all this. And like she said, he was charming, he was nice. I met him at Caroline's Comedy Club, and Ed Lover was hosting, and you know, me and Ed, we had the same management at the time, so you know, I was doing my thing all over New York. He already was a boxer, light heavyweight champion of the world, had already won belts and had done Golden Gloves. So we both had, some celebrity. We were out here in New York doing our thing. We were calling
But you
ourselves a
originally,
power couple.
I'm sorry, coming from Bad Boy, you originally was signed to Bad Boy first, right?
I was never signed to Bad Boy.
Oh, okay.
Bad Boy writer. Shout out Jack Knight, Diddy, all of y'all, Harv. But I was actually, the Akinelli record was on Loud Records at the time. And, I was signed to my deal at the time with RCA.
Okay.
And Harv Pierre was actually the A&R. So my Bad Boy affiliation still lives to this day.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I was definitely, he knew who I was. I kind of knew who he was. My dad is a big boxing fan. So going into the marriage, I do want to say, like, women have to own our part too, as far as when you know something and you push it out your mind, or you say, oh, it's not going to be me, or, well, he loves me, or, whatever excuse you can make to make yourself be okay with staying, even though staying right.
So that was one of the things for you that stood out, that you knew the signs and you knew it wasn't healthy and you knew it wasn't right, but you still stood in there.
I married him knowing that he would put hands on women. But I was pregnant. He had never put hands on me. And I pushed it out of my mind. I pushed it. I said whatever I had to say to myself to stay there. And like I said, he never had put his hands on me ever, but the emotional had already been there. The emotional, that talking at you, making things your fault, when it's like, what did I do? Like you said, just you moody. He was a Gemini, which is a thing, so that's a bipolar naturally. And then once he died, it actually came out in the papers that he was certified schizophrenic. Everybody from his family to his people that dealt with him with the boxing, his handlers and everything, they all knew that, but no one shared that with the wife.
So, I did want you to kind of elaborate on the first time that it was devastating for you to had said, wow. I mean, what incident did you remember him? You said he's never hit you when you were pregnant, but when did he hit you that you knew that this was just not healthy and it wasn't right for a man to do that to you?
I'll take it. Even when I was pregnant, we actually shot a video. I was in a girl group called Forecast, and we shot a video with me pregnant, and this man got upset because he wasn't able to be in the video, and he was feeling jealous or whatever, and he didn't put his hands on me, but he came home and trashed our bedroom. And when I tell you, you can see violence just in that. If somebody tears up something, like, that right there was what I knew right then. Like, oh, that's when it really hit me. Like, I think you messed up, girl. Like,
okay, but when did he physically hit you?
Physically hit me years later. My son might have been, he wasn't 10, so maybe between 6 and 10 years old. We lived a lot separated. I was living in St. Louis. He came for a visit, and I wasn't doing what he wanted me to do. Prior to that, I had been dealing with him and other women, all type of things just to kind of keep him away from me, because it was like, well, if he's with these women, then he's not bothering me, and I kind of dealt with it like that.
Something
and when
like
I decided
what you had to deal with too, right,
when I
Chrissy?
decided not to, he came to the house, and when he didn't hear what he wanted to hear, put hands on me. And when I say hands, this is a boxer. He was 6'3".
And you're tiny,
He was 6'3", 2 whatever. Huge, beat me in my face. And the first time was the last time for me. I walked, but he chased me, stalked me, harassed me for 6-7 years up until his death.
Wow. So there you have some of the highlights and the high points of what a domestic violence survivor has to go through and what the victims still deal with. And so, the question here we're trying to talk about today is, what can we do to stop domestic violence? I think it's a habit. I think it's a genetic habit that happens with some of these abusers, coming from their fathers, their mothers, their grandfather. I think we need to study the patterns. I don't think we need to, when we date, we need to take our time and we need to get to know our partners before we bring them into the household.
Say that.
It's very, very important that you know who you're dating and knowing who you're bringing into your home. And I say that especially for the women's. Women's is so important that you take your time and you understand your your partner. Take your time and date. You know, domestic violence is not a shame. It's not a curse. It is something that is happening. It's just as the biggest epidemic as cancer. You know what I mean? It does kill. Like I said, 1.5 women were killed 2015, and every 9 seconds a woman or a child is being abused right now, and we need to find out the cure for this. How do we stop this? And like I said, Chrissy was definitely one that you would never think about being a domestic violence from being on television. She wore her mask every day coming on set. That means that you don't understand the black eyes, the bruises, the breakdown, the humiliation of not having good self-esteem to carry on your daily chores. So she wore that mask every day. Chrissy, how was it going to taping at, you know, at VH1?
It was hard. For me to go and do press, do radio, red carpet events and stuff, and smile, knowing he was out in the car and he had maybe just smacked me in my face before I walked in. It was very hard. But, you know, I said, he's really trying to just take over everything. He was jealous of me. He was jealous of my success. He was jealous of my life. I wasn't going to let him take this from me, because I worked so hard to get to where I was, where I am now, that I wasn't going to let him take that from me. He had nothing to lose, but I do. So if I would have stopped showing up for my meetings, events, things like that, then he would have won. You know, it was hard. I don't know how I got through it. I guess I'm a naturally strong person, but, you know, I'm still dealing with anger. You know, I'm dealing with the DA's office pursuing charges. I have a 2-year order of protection, even though he's in jail now for attacking another woman after I got him out of my house. He's been in jail since about 6 months now. You know, he's in jail right now threatening to get me kidnapped and all kind of crazy stuff, even with the order of protection. So these men are crazy. I mean, it's men and women. I mean, it can happen to any gender, domestic violence, the lesbian, gay, transgender community. Everybody can experience this. It's not just men beating women. It's women beating men, too. But I'm still living with the aftermath of, I finally got him out of my house, cleaning up my house. He broke up my furniture. I mean, broke my face up. I'm going to counseling. I'm going to 2 different counseling.
You just got your tooth fixed.
Just got my tooth bonded last week that he chipped from punching me in my face. I mean, I'm slowly still getting my life back together, but I wasn't going to let him take my career from me on top of everything else he was trying to take. You know what I mean? He would take my car while I was sleeping and go to Brooklyn for 2 days and sleep with other women. He robbed me for my jewelry, gave my jewelry to another woman in Brooklyn that's wearing it right now. Like, I'm angry. I'm still angry. But with the help of my sister's place, I've been going to counseling. They have free counseling there, and then just regular counseling. And then Jackie here has been my mentor. She's actually one of the first people that reached out to me when I announced publicly on social media that I was, you know, in a domestic violence situation. She found me, actually, I believe, an angel. She's my angel. But she really has helped me get through all the feelings, the anger, the hurt, just rebuilding my life. And you know what? My life is actually even getting better than it was before this happened to me. It's a shame that it happened, but I believe it may have happened for a reason, so I can really help so many other women like Jackie has, because, you know, I do have a big following, and so many women have reached out saying, wow, I would have never guessed you were going through that when I see you on, you know, on this interview and all that. And I'm so shocked how many women are living with it right this second while we're sitting here.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback off of what Chrissy, I'm sorry I didn't really introduce myself about what I do. I am a 9-year, but I was in a domestic violence relationship myself for 9 years, and it's been probably 15 years or 20 years since I've been out of my relationship. And in 2004, I did my first contributed book called Souls of My Sisters, and another book, Souls of My Sister 2, and also another contributed book by my mentor, Terry Williams. I wrote a little essay on depression. So then I became very, very curious to figure out what was my next level in life, and I decided to do something about domestic violence because it was such a shock to me. But I moved on and I did so many things. So I created this organization called Face My Abuse. I wanted every abuser out there to face their abuse. I needed them to understand that they abused people and it was wrong, and I needed them to face it. So Face My Abuse has been very active now for almost 12 years. And this is one of the reasons how I reached out to Chrissy. And I started talking to her and I started consulting her, and I think I did a great job of rebuilding her somewhat. You know what I mean? So for any other women that's out there, there is help. And then I just met Miss Kia Jefferson, that actually someone just recommended me to her, had lunch with her, and I heard her story, and I was just blown. You know what I mean? Because she's being accused. Not even not even 4 years now. 3 years ago, she was on World Star, very, very viral. You know, being accused of killing her husband by domestic violence. And for me, it blew my mind, because when I heard the story, they're saying that she killed him for other reasons. They're not understanding that. Look how little this young lady is. You mind telling them how short you are and how much you weigh?
5'2", about 135 pounds.
Yeah, and it's viral that she killed her husband. You know what I mean? It's not saying that it was self-defense. They're saying that she killed him for other reasons that I can't, you know, think of what could have been besides her trying to save her life. You heard she was struggling. There was a gun involved. The gun went off, shot him in the shoulder. He proceeded to fight her. The bullet lodged somewhere in his heart, and he died. And now she's the victim of pain for this, and I think it's wrong. So what I wanted to do today, and I thank the producer of a Catwalk, Jennifer Burdock, for having us here today. I think it's something that's needed. I think we need to do this, and I'm hoping that I can do this more and have other guests to talk about domestic violence, because I think it's a habit. It is caused by mannerism. I think it needs to be more home trained at home with family structure. It's just a simple mannerism thing. For me, I think that's what it is teaching your kids them and teaching your family good manners. Hello, good afternoon. How was your day today? Is there something wrong today? Do you need time for me to talk to you? You don't need to come out and be so abusive, because my question is, America, why are we so mad? Why are we so angry?
Yeah.
What can we do? What can we possibly do to help our black men, our black women, our white women, our white men? I mean, what can we do for us to have some happiness and some peace of mind and not be so angry to want to violate someone else? It's not right. No one has the right to abuse another human being. We have more dog lovers than we have humans loving each other.
Talk about it.
Okay? Well, this show here is about dogs. And we have more humans loving dogs than we're actually loving human beings.
Amen.
I don't understand it, but I love this, discussion here, and I want to thank Kia Jeffries, and Chrissy Monroe, and myself, Jacqueline Rowe, and the producers of Catwalk for having us here. And this is just the beginning of what's to come. If you want to know more about my organization, it's at Face My Abuse Everything. Face My Abuse DV on Facebook, Face My Abuse Twitter, Face My Abuse Instagram, FaceMyAbuseWordPress.com. Again, thank you so much. And if you need to know anything about Miss Chrissy Monroe, she's on Instagram too, with one of the biggest followings so far, and she's at Miss Chrissy Monroe. And I just got little Miss Jeffries here to start up her social media. So you can tell me where they can find your information, sweetie.
Yes, at Kia Jeffries 1 on Instagram and everything, Facebook, Twitter, all at Kia Jeffries 1.
Just FYI, a lot of the shelters now are actually taking pets, and being that we're on a pet production company, I would love to let you guys know that my center, Safe Haven, does accept pets, and I believe Chrissy has.
My sister's place is now taking pets, because a lot of pets become homeless.
Yes.
And end up in shelters and getting euthanized because they were in a domestic violence household. So when the owner of the pet has to flee, they have nowhere to take the pets.
Yes.
But now, thank God, a lot of the domestic violence shelters are accepting pets, which is a big good news. That's a big step.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Shout out Demi Mucho.
Yes. So a lot of pets can get homes too.
Absolutely. And listen, ladies and everybody, viewers that's on this, please stop being ashamed of domestic violence. Stop kicking it underneath the rug. Let's talk about it, because it does exist. And your uncle, your brother, your sister, your grandmother, your niece, someone is going through it. It might not be all what you think it is on television, black eyes. It's that verbal abuse is one of the biggest domestic violence things that's out there. Bullying is a part of domestic violence. You know what I mean? Control. Well, these are the signs that you need to look from.
Abuse.
You know what I mean? Financial abuse. You know what I mean?
Control.
There's so much much different things that you need to understand about domestic violence. It is an epidemic. It is a disease, and you need to speak out. If you're going through it, I mean, just at your job, if your boss yells at you, that's an abuse. You know what I mean? That's not harassment. That's an abuse. No one needs to be talked down at.
Yeah, don't be embarrassed.
You know?
I was so embarrassed to come forward, but Jackie really encouraged me. She said, when you're ready, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was coming out a little bit because I was like, you know what? I need to share my story because he shouldn't get away with this. And I bet you I know so many other people are going through this. I was embarrassed just for the fact that I already have so many haters on social media that would love to see me going through something negative. And that's just sick within itself. But I said, you know what? I can't let the haters stop me from helping other people.
Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you. Kia?
I just want to say, stop it. Everybody, even in the, like you said, the LB, the lesbian gay community, it's an epidemic. Even there, I notice the gay women, they fight each other all the time. I used to throw parties, and a lot of clubs wouldn't even let us come there with that type of a party because they say, oh, they fight, the police come and everything. Stop it. Why are we so angry?
Exactly,
Like,
my point.
Cut it out. People can say whatever they want to you. You know, that don't mean you put your hands on them.
You gotta
or
respond.
you
Exactly.
stab them. Like, what is the problem? It's love. Spread love.
Yeah, that's really a big thing that we need to find out about. It's just, so mind-boggling. I just watched, what's this guy name again? You were in it. What's his name? Michael Moore. Oh, my God. I am in love with Michael Moore. Such a great way to tell a story. Documentaries are phenomenal because it's only New York. We give all the ideas and then all the other tri-states steal them. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
Say that.
What are we doing? We need to find out why are we so angry. And also, I forgot to even mention that Chrissy Monroe, just after a couple, just watching her, she has taken my social media, Face My Abuse, and from 500 followers to almost 10,000 followers in the last 5 months. I'm proud to announce that she is the face and the brand of my organization, Face My Abuse, and I thank her dearly. I mean, if you guys are following, you need to follow Face My Abuse on Instagram. Chrissy has opened up a can of worms that you would not believe. She has exploited herself in just, oh my God, and just the magnitude of letting you know that it happened to her. And if it can happen to her, it can happen to you.